Tell us a little bit about what you saw and being able to relay that message to Cora when you watched Kimbrel pitch and kind of help out so he wasn't tipping his pitches.
So tipping pitches, we hear about it all the time.
People at home understand what tipping pitches is all about.
It's amazing.
And that's remarkable.
Alex, can we start this week's episode with me talking about what it was like to be standing in left field at Citizens Bank Park, watching My Chemical Romance perform the entirety of the Black Parade?
This is the only thing I want to talk about on this week's episode, if I'm being honest.
You want to do like a solid 2 hours on this? I could just talk you through the set list.
This is like our Venn diagram is a circle moment, you know? Like it's all right here in front of us.
You know, for all that we've talked about music in our lives and on this podcast, I think that My Chemical Romance has mostly been in passing.
I think so, yeah. But that's because it's so omnipresent, you know? It's kind of like it's all around us, you know? This is our version of me saying, what is water?
First things first, they have the juice. Here on this baseball podcast, I thought it would be worth it to talk about how weird it was to stand on a Major League Baseball field. It just doesn't get any more normal. I've done it a few times in my life now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Taken a couple reps at shortstop for the New York Mets in my day. The field is it's really big. That's my take.
Big. Mm-hmm.
It's really big. Big field.
Too big?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking down at, so the way that they had the stage set up, it was like in left center, and then some of the seats stretched out towards center field. Some of the seats where I was sitting stretched all the way towards the left field line. And so you walk down over like a set of staircase, over like a portable staircase that they set up for you to go over the left field fence, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Through a section over the left field fence on a separate set of stairs to get down to the field. So I'm like, first of all, this is weird geometrically. Like, this is not how I should be able to get to left field, but nonetheless.
Right.
Okay, here I am climbing over the left field wall.
Right. You want to be doing it hopping over the walls, no stairs, with your shirt off, as you usually do at Citizens Bank Park.
Is the way that this podcast ends, one of us like streaks on the field?
Probably. That is maybe the logical conclusion to everything we're doing here.
That's the level of psychosis we're giving ourselves by doing this show every week.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sitting out there in left field. It's like deep left along the line. And I'm looking back towards home and I'm like, boy, that's pretty far. Definitely could not make that throw.
Uh-huh.
Definitely could not hit it out here if I was standing at home.
Does it give you a little more sympathy for Kyle Schwarber?
Not being able to play left?
Right, yeah. You're just kind of like, wow, it is really big out here. I wouldn't be able to catch anything either.
I was never much of an outfielder, even on a little league field.
Okay, all right.
Did either of us ever play the outfield?
Not really. I was an infielder. I was, I was never really good. So it was kind of I was a utility guy, you know? I wouldn't say super utility. I would say regular
Oh, you
utility.
were just utility?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're no, what's his name? Ben from the Rays and the Cubs.
Ben Zobrist?
Zobrist. You're no Ben Zobrist. Boy, I'm tired.
No Ben Zobrist. I'm no Willie Castro.
I thought it was a cool feeling to be at a Major League Baseball field. I don't know. It's just one man's opinion.
Did you get any souvenirs? Because like my instinct always is when I'm in a place
they had
that,
it
like
tarped.
under normal circumstances. Oh, seriously?
Yeah, you were like walking around on like a tarp that they rolled out for this specific purpose.
I mean, on the one hand, that makes perfect sense. You don't just want thousands of people walking around.
I don't think that would be tenable.
But also, like,
I was really tempted
that's
to
my
just go
instinct.
towards home or go towards the pitcher's mound.
I mean, what would they have done?
Probably.
Where was
the
the stage set up? Was it like kind of in like the second base area?
No. I just said it was in left center, like deep out in left center. So that's where the sage was. I was on the left field line.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Towards the corner, and the other people who were to the right of the stage. I'm going to be honest with you. 29 years old. I don't know what stage right and stage left means. Is that like when you're on
whatever
the stage?
it is, it's the exact opposite of what you think it is.
So is it when you're on the stage, you're on the stage to the left? That's stage left.
Yeah. Correct. Yes.
Okay. So
Facing
I
the
was
audience.
stage right, facing the audience, stage
Okay.
right. Along the left field line. This is good stuff right here, actually. Now, this is what people tune in for. Okay. And then stage left was out there in sort of left center field. Nobody was on the infield at all. The infield was blocked off. And then there were people in the seats to the stadium as well.
Interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea what this concert setup looks like.
Bro, I sent you like 50 photos.
I know you did.
I was like live streaming it to you, basically.
Basically. So it was a good time. You enjoyed yourself out there. Where would you say it ranks in terms of the concerts that you've seen at Citizens Bank Park? Would you say it's above or below Vanilla Ice?
I was going to say it's one of one. There's no other ones, but then I remembered the Vanilla Ice.
No, it's not. I know it's not.
Definitely above Vanilla Ice.
Okay.
Definitely above.
Mm-hmm. Much to the chagrin of the woman who was sitting in front of us at that concert.
No, it's really, it has nothing to do with
enjoying
her.
Ourselves.
No, it has nothing to do with her. It has more to do with the fact that, unlike you, I don't support white rappers. You feel really strongly about the fact that white guys should be able to rap.
Uh-huh.
This is one of your longest standing takes.
Right. If they can do it, why can't we?
It was a great show. It ended by them. So the way that the show is broken up, it's like a 2.5 hour set, and they do all of the Black Parade, including like several skits and interludes and extended versions. It's quite, the theater kids have won, is my big takeaway from the My Chemical Romance resurgence, is that theater kids have won in society. And honestly, I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with it. Even though I never was a theater kid. I can respect theater kid energy as much as the next guy. And then they stop.
Yeah, of course.
They stop down. They do an outfit change. They come out to an auxiliary stage, and they play just a set. They play songs from the other albums. And then when they're done because they've done this whole skit. They've played an auxiliary set. They do not play an encore, and they say as much. They don't. They you know how a lot of bands are like, we're not doing an encore. They didn't say that, but they were like, we're going home now, and then they walk off the stage. Yes, this is it. And I think some people were hoping maybe that was a bit and that they were going to come out and do one more song. That was not the case. Instead, what we got was that Citizens Bank Park turned the lights on.
That's
big,
right.
bright lights.
Show's over, folks.
Show's over, but then also you're walking out and it's almost like you're in like a coma and you just snapped out of it, because you were in this dark concert for hours listening to this band that you love, flashing lights, pyrotechnics, and then all of a sudden the brightest lights humanly possible, the bright lights of Citizens Bank Park, under which many Mets have folded over the years. And you're like slowly death marching out of the stadium underneath these lights.
Right.
And I was like, is this really how bright it is when they're playing? How do they see? Why don't they wear sunglasses?
That's famously, they do say that about the bright lights. I don't know what they say exactly,
too bright.
but
shut them off.
Certainly something. Well, and then, so did you want to tell us about the rest of your night? Because you ended up, you told me at Xfinity Live, riding the bull, which was a little out of character for you, but I appreciated you FaceTiming me through the whole thing.
It was me, Frank Iero, Ray Toro. The Way brothers went home back to New Jersey. No, I wouldn't have set foot in that place. Not after a My Chemical Romance concert, at least.
Right. Yeah. Just too much of a vibes mismatch.
You know what I did?
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. I drove my sister's friends home, and I put on, as I almost always do when I'm just looking for something to put on real quick when I'm driving somewhere, I put on the PUP album, Morbid Stuff, which, if you recall, is the exact PUP album that I put on the last time you and I were driving out of Philadelphia on the exact same road.
That's
almost
correct.
at that exact same time of night, remarking what a fine album that is. And I had a deja vu moment and I thought of you.
PUP at Citizens Bank next?
I think they should do a baseball stadium tour I don't know how they feel about filling a bunch of baseball stadiums, but maybe minor league stadium tour.
There you go. Maybe we don't float it to them like that. So we were kicking around a major league stadium idea, but we think you guys are better suited for the minor leagues. But maybe they'd be into that.
It
Maybe
just
that's
seems like a lot of
vibe
pressure.
Trying to curate NRA.
It just seems like a lot
Yeah.
of pressure, because then you got to do like then you got to do shit, you got to do fireworks,
Mhm.
you got to do like videos.
Apparently, you have to have auxiliary stages.
Yeah, you have to have a second stage. My Chemical Romance passed out pieces of paper that said yay or nay, and we voted on whether people got shot. It was a whole thing. I'm telling you, theater kids.
Sorry, wait. It sounded like you just said you got to vote on whether or not people got shot.
Yeah, like fake shot. Yeah.
Like in the people in the audience?
No, they were actors on the stage.
Oh.
The bit is
So
like
that's democracy in action right there.
literally.
That's America in 2025.
The bit is like we're in a dystopian dictatorial future. And they are forced to perform the Black Parade under duress. They clock in. If they do anything against what the dictator wants, they get hit. It's a whole thing.
That's fair. I see it. I see the vision.
You see the vision now. You see the vision now. They have their
They
own whole
are
like alphabet.
truly 101.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're one of one. No, there's never going to be another one. There's never going to be another one like them. That was my visit to Citizens Bank Park. I have not seen a Phillies game in Citizens Bank Park this year. I have, however, seen My Chemical Romance.
I think you're winning in that regard then.
I think so too. In addition to watching the best rock band of the 21st century, I also watched a lot of Little League World Series this past week and still am, even some on the plane to Texas, which is the state that I'm in right now. As you know, maybe listeners, that'll add a little context as to why I just a little bit off my game.
You sound great for what it's worth. You sound locked in, ready to go.
I appreciate you saying that.
I know as soon as your last parlay clears on this Little League World Series game, you're going to be all eyes. I know I can't say that. You might have to bleep that out. That's technically banned, but we know in our hearts what it was.
Can you bet offshore on the Little League World Series?
This was the whole thing. They put out a statement that said, please stop trying to bet on the Little League World Series.
That happened this year?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
I think it happens every year. I think it's just an annual tradition at this point.
I'm in it for the love of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, you've been following these kids year round, right?
I have whole scouting reports. I got there before. Probably going to bleep that, but it's all right. I have been watching the Little League World Series, and we're going to talk about it. I think we're also going to talk about how the Pohlads were like, we're going to sell the Twins, and now we're not. Just kidding. Bummer town. And then Manfred, speaking of the Little League World Series, he was in the booth yesterday during the ESPN Sunday night game between the New York Mets and the Seattle Mariners in Williamsport, the Little League Classic. I think it's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Classic thing that they're doing. Classic.
It's
classic for two Major League Baseball players to play at the Little League World. Classic situation. He was there and he was being interviewed about expansion. He was asked about expansion and he was like, yeah, we're going to fucking do it. And then he was asked about geographic alignment and he was like, we're going to do that also. So I guess we have to talk about that too.
We're going to do it at the same time.
Before we get to all that, I am Bobby Wagner.
I'm Alex Baisley.
You are listening to Tipping Pitches. Okay, Alexander. You really bristled when I called you Alexander. Alexander Baisley on the taste test on Sipping Pitches.
It just caught me off guard.
I feel like I do that. Don't I?
Only when I'm in trouble.
Don't make me use your middle name. I will. The listeners don't know that one yet.
No, they don't. God willing, they never will.
I had to learn that for a roommate trivia game that we played together sophomore year. Was that sophomore year? I think it was.
Junior, I think. We were in Gramercy.
What a great dorm that was.
So baller.
Cut short by my cowardly ass going abroad.
I know.
Halfway through the year.
This guy wants experiences.
Yeah.
This guy's in
wanted
and
an
of the
experience
city.
too. That's why you came to visit me and you had a layover in Russia.
Exactly.
Okay. Thanks to this week's new patrons. Wilson, Matt, Wild Hogs 2 Kickstarter. That's the name of someone's Patreon account. Wild Hogs 2 Kickstarter.
Mhm.
I support that movement.
I'm on board. Tell me where to donate.
Cooper, Andrea, or Andrea. Really hard to tell how that's pronounced. I hope one of those two is right. Andrea/Andrea. Craig, Jacob, Mike, Ben, Brad, Rob, another Ben, Cfitz, Ben, a third Ben, Maxwell, and Kyle. Wow, the Bens are coming for the Alexes. How about that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You gotta talk to your boys and girls.
You know, some are saying the Bens will be coming for the Alexes on this here podcast in a couple weeks.
They would have come quicker if we're not for a difficult scheduling. Nice little tease. Look at you.
Yeah. Thanks.
8 years
Thanks.
in, doing podcaster
I'm
stuff.
a podcast host. Let's go.
Let's go. Clap it up, boys and girls.
We may make a real show yet. I'm ready.
They love it when we do professional podcaster stuff. That's why everybody signed up. All those people signed up for the Patreon for us to get drunk. All right. I promised you that I would talk about the Little League World Series.
You did. You said you had takes. Thoughts.
First of all, I want to share
Reflections.
the experience of turning on the first game that I turned on. It's probably been a few years, maybe 5 years since I watched the Little League World Series in earnest. Like more than just catching part of a game here or there. That's not because I don't have anything against the Little League World Series in particular. I have some things against Little League in general as an organization.
Right.
As I think any baseball critical thinker might. I have some things against the way that ESPN covers things. And ESPN is the rights holder for the Little League World Series and has been for as long as I can remember, if not always. I just didn't find the time or didn't really have the interest. I was really into it when I was younger and then just kind of faded interest over time. But my parents have been watching it as they relayed to me several times in the 2 days that I was in Philadelphia for the My Chemical Romance concert. They were like, hey, we've been watching Little League World Series. You been watching it? And I was like, nope. And they were like, some of these kids are good. And I was like, that's the thing every year. So like, you turn Little League World Series, these kids are fucking good. It's shocking. That's the appeal. And but they're really into it. And so I was like, all right, you guys are really into it. Let's fire it up. Let's throw it on. And of course, I was immediately hooked. I was like immediately in.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this shit is awesome. It's like they're trying to be major leaguers, but they're 12. That's the appeal.
Yeah. It's really cool.
More on that in a second. I do want to say the first game that I turned on was Venezuela. I can't remember who they were playing, but I believe Venezuela advanced. As I turned the game on, ESPN was doing an introduction for the team. And as part of their introductory graphic montage thing or whatever, you know, they were like, here's the city that they're from in Venezuela. Here's what they've done so far to get here. All these things that you might want to know. And then they threw in something that I thought was kind of compelling and a little bit of like part of the problem with how this event is covered and part of the thing that I do kind of reactionarily take a step back from and be like, this is a little weird sometimes. They were like, this is the year that Christopher Columbus landed in Venezuela. That was part of their introductory montage. They're like, we ran out of stuff to say. All right, what is another thing that people know? Well, Christopher Columbus. They know him.
What did he discover Venezuela to the extent that he discovered anything?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Or was it just like he stopped there? For
It
a
was like
bathroom break on his way back to the
1495.
old world.
You know, like, you know,
Okay.
1492, Christopher Columbus, he sailed the ocean blue or whatever. Like a couple years later, he made it down to Venezuela. That was like kind of the implication of them sharing the fact. And then they just moved on from it. They just moved on.
Right. Never referenced again. Do you think that Christopher Columbus plays a big role in Venezuelan culture?
I, to be honest, don't know. He could. I have no idea.
Right. We're not qualified to speak on that, maybe.
No, I just thought that was a weird note. Genuinely
That is-
weird note.
Well, it's also like, it's especially weird if they like didn't do that for anyone else. Like, unless for
No,
all
they
of the
didn't.
American teams, they said, and also Christopher Columbus landed here in 1492.
if there's one thing that Williamsport, Pennsylvania makes me wonder about, it's when did Christopher Columbus get here? I just thought that was
okay. Upon reflection, I actually think that would be a good bit. Just like include that with every single team. When did Christopher Columbus arrive here? Some places he probably never arrived, and it's up to you how you want to judge the team based on that fact. Can they get it done this year without the magic of young Chris flowing through them?
We're still waiting for his ghost to land in Chinese Taipei. I just thought the vibe of it to me was sort of like, how some people speak in threes. They're like this thing, headlines often come in threes. They're like Taylor Swift on her new album, the success of the Eras Tour, and being part of the NFL culture or something like that. Like that's the title for the New Heights episode. The vibe of this was like, we knew two things about Venezuela and we ran out of things to say about Venezuela. And so we just were like, Googling and we were like, wow, Christopher Columbus landed there. Might as well throw that in.
All right. Well, next year I'm sure they'll get to Hugo Chavez and his role in reshaping the country's political landscape.
You think so? You think
I get it? There's a lot to cover.
I've heard Carl Ravitch has strong thoughts about that.
I think so, probably. Did anyone ask about Nicolas Maduro?
Jesus Christ.
Do you, sir, 12-year-old, do you condemn Nicolas Maduro?
Between every pitch. I don't know. It's borderline. All right. Aside from that, having taken a 5
Columbus.
Now that we've gotten the Columbus out of the way, mandatory 10 minutes on Chris. Taking a 5-year or maybe even more. I don't know when the last time I watched a lot of Little League World Series was. Taking that long of a break and coming back to it, I did find was kind of instructive, to be honest. And take this with the grain of salt that, like, yeah, this is just one year of players. These are just the teams that made it through. This is a sweeping generalization. But I feel like the teams that make it to this point are relatively indicative of what youth baseball looks like compared to what it looked like 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned earlier, they are kind of just carbon copy major leaguers. Used to be that you watched the Little League World Series and it was like they were doing weird stuff. They had bad stances sometimes. They were... Not every kid had a fucking hose and was just crow hopping and lasering it across the diamond from third to first. Like, kids would do stuff that wasn't as fundamentally sound. Kids would do stuff that was like, well, you wouldn't teach it that way, but that gets it done at age 12. Mm-hmm. I gotta be honest, brother, that is not the case with the Little League World Series anymore. They look like robots out there. And I mean, of course, they still have personality and they're still very funny. And the emotions break through sometimes, particularly for pitchers who are having a tough time, maybe walking, whatever. Everyone throws a slider now, like 40% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
All of these kids throw max effort. Not all of them. Most, I would say 2/3 of the kids that I watched to 3/4 threw max effort on the mound.
Yeah.
And everyone's stance is like, out of a YouTube video of like how to square up the ball or something. It is fascinating. I guess it shouldn't be surprising given the ubiquity of information that we have about how baseball is taught nowadays, the accessibility, the democratization of the teaching of the game. There's no longer like regional quirks. There's no we have the internet now. There's no such thing as regions. Right. All of these kids, for the most part, fly to perfect game tournaments to learn how to do stuff. They don't learn it from their local Little League coach, even though the way ESPN portrays the games would have you believe like, there's still all this like character and uniqueness to how each team does it. And there are to how they think about the game and approach the game and talk about the game and the personalities of the kids on the team. Those are unique team to team. But man, up and down, like they all just look like miniature major league teams. It's freaky, actually. It's actually kind of like freaky to watch.
Yeah, it is a weird... The Little League World Series is such a weird kind of microcosm of everything happening in baseball today, good and bad. You know, I mean, it is in theory, you know, this sort of civic pageant, right? Volunteer run. It's little leagues. It's the most wholesome version of the sport that we have available to us right now, right? The one that is least weighed down with the broader economic context of the sport and unwritten rules and this and that, right? It's kids being kids, right? Who are also hyper professionalized and are wrapped in a national TV ad buy, you know? And so it's like just all of these things coming together and clashing right in the middle for something that I do think is ultimately really cool. Like the Little League Classic portion of this, right? Which is when they play in Williamsport and the big leaguers come out and watch them and vice versa. That's like awesome. Like if I can be a little sincere for a moment, I think that's a very cool thing to do, to see them interacting, to see the kids getting interviewed on TV, to see the kids cast that they do, right? Which is the kids broadcast version of the Little League World Series. Just want to say, about as good as a regular ESPN broadcast. If I'm being quite honest.
Damning with faint praise.
But it just feels so surreal every time I tune in, because you're right. These kids are all super good.
I kind of agree that it's pretty amazing. I do feel some level of sincerity for it. I wonder if I would feel the same way had I not played Little League and had the personal experience of like, this is nostalgic for me. This is reminding me of how I wish I could have partaken in this, you know? But something about the traditions of it, you know, like sliding on the cardboard box down the hill and all the teams coming out to watch the other teams, and now the Little League Classic, which they do a pretty good job of. It feels, you know, we talked about the Bristol Motor Speedway's game last week, and my main critique of it was like, does this feel like it's making baseball more or less accessible? Does it feel like it's opening the door to more people, or does it feel like it's tokenizing the sport or amusement parkifying the sport? And it definitely, on this like arbitrary scale that I have in my own specific head, I was like, well, it feels more towards like an amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, the Little League World Series does feel like it's making the sport more accessible. It's opening up. All these people from all parts of the world are here for these 2 weeks. They're right on top of each other. You'd never get the chance to meet these people for any other reason than this. And these kids would never have the chance to meet major leaguers in this context like this, which this much with this much accessibility. And not just that, but like each other's families and like the sportsmanship that I think is a little bit like too obsessed over by the broadcast. They're like, look how great. They're such great sports. You know, almost like the other piece of that sentence is like, and these greedy major leaguers, they're just in it for the fucking money.
Right. Or like
the way that they present this concept.
Yeah, that, or like if a kid shows negative feelings, you know, it's like that it is somehow lesser that he's upset that he botched that error or something like that. You know, it's like, I mean, these are kids. Like, we don't have to pretend that they all have to be great sports.
I think for all of those reasons, it feels more like what we want, even despite its flaws. It feels like an accessible, unique, multicultural, even despite the ethnocentric lens that it's viewed and portrayed in sometimes, as evidenced by the Christopher Columbus thing. Certainly, in comparison to the rest of what we watch throughout the year, it's better than that. It's like the World Baseball Classic, except like more earnest.
Right. So you were saying you actually want more teenagers playing baseball on national television. You actually think the entire baseball landscape
why shouldn't they drop out of school?
Yeah.
Sign contracts with one of the 30 Major League Baseball teams. And like
or a place like Finley, for example, if you need
Sure, exactly. Finley, the virtual ballpark, an exclusive licensing deal with the virtual ballpark.
Just throwing things out. NFTs if they want.
And then they could just work for cheaper than the players,
Right. Child
It's
labor
like
laws are getting
children-
looser and looser around this country as we speak. So,
Well, that's not about child labor laws, but it's like children working is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
But it's fun for them. So like we pay them a little less.
would you say you're paying them an experience, an exposure?
They are kind of being paid in exposure.
They are. I mean,
Todd Frazier is built from this.
Seriously. I mean, this is every like narrative ball person's dream. The amount of lines that you can draw back from major leaguers to these very fields. It's just, ESPN has a field day with this. Like I almost wonder. I don't know how much Major League Baseball has a role in negotiating the rights package for like the Little League World Series, but I almost wonder if Major League Baseball was like, okay, ESPN, we're gonna walk, but we're taking the Little League World Series with us. If ESPN would be like, actually, baseball is a very big part of our coverage all of a sudden, because like it does feel like a very different, like sort of marquee thing for them to want to hold on to.
Well, to that end, Rob Manfred complimented. He appeared on the ESPN broadcast, by the way,
Right?
In the midst of all of this stuff about pulling the rights away and ending the negotiation acrimoniously. Then now he's making good and appearing on the broadcast. And at the end of it, he was like, "Thanks for having me. You guys do such a great job." He's like complimenting them. I'm like, okay, Rob.
I have like 7 quotes of you saying otherwise, but all right.
So that's one piece of it. The other piece is I actually think the broadcast is not that bad. It's not great. It could be a little better. I think some of the combinations of announcers are better than others.
Are you just talking
But frankly,
like ESPN in general? Like baseball on ESPN?
I'm talking about the
Or for
broadcast
Little
of
League
the
World
Little League World Series.
Series? Okay, all right.
Is leaps and bounds better than the Sunday Night Baseball broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually freaky how much better it is, because it's two things, and they're related to each other. The first thing is that the pace of play is a lot faster. These kids are like, let's go. I'm up there. Next pick, next pitch. And they make outs faster.
Yeah.
And
Jackson's mom brought orange slices.
the plays happen faster because the field is smaller. It's all just a little bit punchier. It's like baseball with a little bit of caffeine in it. That's number one. Number two, I think the announcers, particularly Ravitch, seems a lot more excited about talking about the kids than he does about the players. I feel disdain towards most Major League Baseball players from the ESPN broadcast, from the booth, frankly. I mean, there are exceptions that almost prove that rule, where they obsess over like one or two guys on every broadcast. Like, this is the guy. I love this guy. It's like they don't even know who the other guys are.
Mm-hmm.
For the Little League World Series, it doesn't matter because no one knows who any of them are. So they can be like, oh, this is a kid. How funny, And that sort of lightheartedness
Look at how short his legs
the
are.
whole broadcast. Some of these kids' legs are not that short. Some of these kids are like 5'11".
I know.
Like, what the hell? It just seems like they like it. It seems like they're having fun. And I'm like, oh, what a shocking revelation. If you sound like you're having fun, it's going to be more fun for me to watch it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that is a relatively constant through line of a lot of baseball broadcasts, especially national baseball broadcasts, is like, you need to not take this so seriously. I'm not saying you need to just be doing bits and riffing the whole time, but like, enjoy life a little. You're watching athletes at the peak of your game, but this doesn't have to be a whole like anti-ESPN tirade or whatever. But I agree that with the weight of it being professional baseball lifted, I think they have the freedom a little bit more to like just have fun out there, which honestly is maybe something that they would do well to extend to the rest of their broadcasts. Instead of like, it's like people with stage fright. Instead of get up there, pretend everyone's naked, just get up there and pretend that everyone's 12, Just don't get up there and pretend that everyone's 12 and naked, because then we get into some weird territory.
Okay, how do I follow that up? What I was gonna say was that I think that the fact that ESPN only broadcasts one baseball game a week just has broken their brain, because baseball is such a day in, day out sport, and they feel like they're parachuting in, and they feel like they have to either somehow differentiate themselves from the week to week, from the day to day broadcast of the teams that they are broadcasting. They're like, we have to be different. We have to have one big theory. We have to be obsessed with one player. When you watch a local broadcast, even the best player on the team, it's pretty rare that they're like, here's 3 stories about that guy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why would you burn that all in one game? You just talk about that a week from now. Or, you'd let it come to you a little bit more. They forced the issue on the ESPN broadcast. And frankly, the Little League World Series game, they're broadcasting more games for the Little League World Series than they do for ESPN Sunday Night Baseball all year.
Mm-hmm.
In the span of 2 weeks, they're broadcasting way more games. They have several different announcer combinations. It's just like a little bit less produced, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
And so I think it leads to a better product, and I think they could take that lesson. I mean, I'm not trying to insinuate that like a Major League Baseball local broadcast is not produced, because they are. They are heavily fretted over, heavily produced. But there's like verve to it. There's still soul left in it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel scripted. It feels like
Yes.
they have a little bit of wiggle room to be themselves.
That's my notes from the Little League World Series.
Those are good notes. I appreciate you dumping the notebook. We've determined make Major League Baseball fields smaller,
Correct.
both so that the pace of play goes faster, and also so Bobby doesn't get vertigo when he stands on it.
Correct.
And have more fun, guys. Lighten up a little bit.
Okay. Rob Manfred was in the booth, spitting fire.
As he does.
Every time I hear him talk, it's like the first time he's talking in his life.
It is. He has like the weird lawyerly thing where it does feel like every word is kind of like buffering. I'm like, dude, you're just chopping it up in the broadcast booth. It's okay.
I only caught the back half of the interview because I was coming home and I turned the game on, and he was mid sentence, and I was like, Rob, celebrity sighting. And not a lot of interest. He's talking about the Little League World Series, how cool it is to have the major league players there, all that boilerplate stuff, which I have no problem with. And then at the end of it, for whatever reason, he was asked about expansion. He was asked by Carl Ravitch about expansion and whether MLB is considering adding more teams. I was like, weirdly hard-hitting question.
Crazy time to ask this question.
he was like, I don't know if it came up in another media availability and it was like fair game or something. I honestly don't know the context. And that's the beauty of Tipping Pitches, is that you guys listening probably know it better than us. So his response was like, yes, we plan to add 2 teams. Yes, we plan to expand, more or less. It was like the most definitive I've heard him on the subject, where he's like, we really want to do this. We have plans to do it. We intend to do it. We think it'd be great for the game. And then in conjunction with that, geographic realignment. Because now that we have 2 extra teams, we have to figure out where to put them, and that'll shuffle up the divisions. It's a good occasion to do this. And I was kind of just like, Evan Drellick worked on this story for 3 years, and he just tweeted it out.
Exactly. I'm like, can you say that? Are you allowed? Where are your handlers, Rob?
He's safety off Rob. This is why he's going to do the pod. He's going to do the pod.
Safety off Rob.
Rob, do the pod, bro.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do the pod, and we'll stop. Like, we'll stop
Right.
bothering you. We'll stop
We will.
critiquing
We really
you.
will.
We just want you to do the pod.
Just come break bread with us, man.
He could be part of Sipping Pitches Part 2. Sorry, Matthew Robertson.
Oh
You got
my
the boot,
God.
brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending on when we do it, I was going to say he might be on his way out, but I also don't know why we would wait to do that for like 3 years. So never mind.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be real with you. We're going to be doing that episode every year.
I know.
That's going to be an annual episode. I'm just going to pull back the curtain. That pod did really well. Boys and girls, we're going to be doing that at least once a year.
And apparently it did so well, we've actually influenced other players to start rolling out their own beers.
Yeah, do you want to speak a little bit about how cowardly Alex Bregman in particular is?
I dropped it in
That's
Alex's chat. I was
You
like,
did?
I did. Before we recorded, I was like, we're doing this. I was like, first of all, if any of you are baseball players, Alex is, let me know if you have a beer line. I didn't get any response. And then here we go. Alex Bregman comes out with his new Sam Adams like IPA or whatever it is. And
You
I don't
can't
know.
really buy that at the stores. You had to go to Boston to get it.
I know. Well, we were there earlier this year. Again, if we'd
I know,
aligned
I would have
schedules.
happily bought it. I would have happily bought it. He's just leaving money on the table.
It really is. What was the other? Oh, and Alex Vesia also launched a beer. The Bullpen Dog. I'm not saying it's all unrelated. That's all I'll say. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say something that might feel a little uncharitable for the typical tone of this podcast?
Sure.
He's not good enough to put out a fucking beer. I'm sorry. He's pretty good. Like, he's pretty good. He's not good enough or famous enough. You got to be one or the other.
Right.
Sorry.
Speak on it.
I like him. Good pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a rough stretch the last couple weeks. Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not.
Tap in, bro. Padres catching up. Dodgers took it back. You know this? You follow this?
Yeah. Padres are good. I've been proven wrong by my post-trade deadline just asking questions.
Are you like down with geographical realignment?
Okay,
Like, do you
all
think
right,
that's
we're
a
back.
cool idea? Because I've seen a lot of images going around of like a division with like Mets, Yankees, Phillies, you know, Pirates. I don't know.
Right.
Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Red Sox, Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is my fucking nightmare. It's basically what I'm trying to say. Like, what are we going to have? Dodgers, Angels, Padres, A's? Well, they're going to Vegas, so probably not. Allegedly. Mariners.
I think it just like depends on why you're doing it, right? Like in Manfred's words, part of the reason they're looking at realignment, right, is about a couple things about travel and rest. I'm putting those in scare quotes, right? Like they want to make the travel easier for teams. And also, it's going to work a lot better for some of their television slots, right? To not have the Red Sox on the West Coast playing a 10 p.m. Eastern game. You know, I think that was the example he brought up. I don't know that you.
I think it's cool when that happens.
Well, but that's kind of my point. Is like, if you're just, I don't know that it's a good idea if you're just trying to optimize the like best TV schedule. Again, it's a little bit of what we've talked about with Rob before, of where he is like interested in sort of smoothing out all the quirks of baseball. And at this point, that is who he is, right? Like, he doesn't like extra innings. He doesn't like the sort of weird late evening West Coast start times or whatever for East Coast fans. I tend to think that sort of thing is cool. I like that. I enjoy that about baseball. It doesn't negatively impact my life to the point where I'm like, God, I wish that could change. I think it's sick because I'm like, it's 10 p.m. and my team's about to come on. That's great. I got a whole night ahead of me.
What team is that?
These days, I don't know, brother. Los Angeles Angels.
The Red Sox.
Red Sox.
People are really mad at you in the streets of Philadelphia, by the way. That's one thing that I learned.
Oh, yeah?
People
You
were coming
talking
up
to
to
people
me.
on the streets? Yeah.
Yeah. The buzz around the stadium with all the goths and
Right.
the emos and the Phillies fans.
Right.
They were coming up to me and they were like, Sir, Mr. Tipping Pitches,
Uh-huh.
we've heard word that Alex's Phillies fandom has waned. We would just like to hear here's this petition. We have had 3,000 signatures on it for him to come home. Come back to the bank. People are mad. I don't know.
And
there's a lot of energy out in the streets. You know, it honestly, it reminds me a little bit of Occupy Wall Street.
uh-huh. Yeah, right. We are the 99%.
It's like Occupy Broad Street, you know? They're like, Alex must come back to Phillies fandom.
So you signed that petition sheet, I assume. I assume you were
I
signature
didn't sign it.
3001.
No, I'm an unbiased arbiter. You know, I'm like,
like the
it's like, you know, you've been served. I'm going to give you the petition next time you come over to record the podcast.
All right. Fuck, I guess I can never come home then.
People can't pin you down, bro. You're an A's fan one day, you're a Red Sox fan the next day. The next day you're watching Cubs day games on a Friday instead of working. The next day after that, you're a Phillies fan. You know,
Can't pin me down. Can't geo-target me with your ads, Major League Baseball. What am I a fan of? Try and figure it out. Take a guess.
it's just like your music thing bleeding over into baseball. Like anytime it becomes a little bit too much of a fad to be a fan of a team, you're like, I don't want to be a fan of the team anymore. Oh, everybody's a Phillies fan now. Oh, look, now they spray beer all over each other. Oh, they mash homers. Oh, they got all the good players. Like, nah, I'm out.
Oh, Dancing on My Own.
Yeah, wow.
You play the worst version of that
mainstream.
song.
They do play the worst version of that song.
I on realignment, I am not wholeheartedly opposed to the idea, but I do struggle to see the sort of net benefit for fans. Honestly, I think it's probably a plus for TV execs.
Yeah.
The
league.
It's a plus for the league, and frankly, it's probably a plus for players as well, with shorter trips, potentially. Again, I think that's something that the union probably would want to codify rather than just leaving it up to the league to like ensure. Like, I think they did like a sort of more balanced schedule starting a couple years ago. It didn't really reduce the amount of trips that players were taking anyway, and so the sort of CBA like economic landscape aspect of this is like a really interesting wrinkle as well, right? Sort of trying to wrap your arms around what the league's finances look like and also bring a couple more teams in. I understand that like we're a little ways out from that, and Rob wants the two stadium issues with the A's and Rays settled before then.
Dude, it was
I
crazy
don't know.
though. In the interview, he was like, he actually specified, he was like, one of the two teams will be in Rome, New York.
Fuck yes.
He was like, we're going to put it right on the old Woodstock 99 grounds. He's like, it's already set up, you know? It's already hosted a world historic event like Woodstock 99.
So the Rome Rays? Or the Rome A's?
No, the Rome A's. The Rome A's.
Contract the A's and the Rays into one.
Oh.
Spell it like J-Hap, right? So R-A-S. It's still pronounced Rays, but you've got both team names in there. Together they might make a major league team yet.
We had just, what you just did there, you merged like 5 tipping pitches jokes into one. Like that was actually some of the best podcasting you've ever done. I really just like everybody's at home, unless you're driving, please round of applause. And even if you are driving, you know, if you're at a stoplight, quick one. Rays.
They say finally we do our best work
you
at
can
like
root
9
for.
PM. Exactly.
Wholeheartedly, you know, built on the foundation of White Rage, Limp Bizkit, Corn. All right. I think I just don't think it's a good idea. I think it's too radical of a shift.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do think it matters, like if it passes the eye test, even if logistically it makes a lot of sense, even if it saves the players a lot of travel, saves the league a lot of money, makes more sense for television broadcasts. I just don't think it's a good idea for the Yankees and Mets to play 12 times a year. I just don't.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it's a good idea for the Dodgers and Angels to play 12 times a year. I don't think it's a good idea to take. I don't actually even know what the realignment would look like. I know a lot of people have put a lot of effort into this, but to what then? You're going to put the Marlins and the Rays in the same division? You're going to put like, this is just are the Braves ever going to miss the playoffs again after that? You know, when it's like Braves, Marlins, Rays, Nashville expansion team,
right.
And the Nats. That's the squad. I'm not sold.
I recognize that. I recognize that like there is going to have to be some sort of shift, right? Like, unless you just want 2 more 6-team divisions, you're shaking your head. No, you're pro that?
No. I think that we keep everything the same and the 2 expansion teams play each other 81 times a year. No, just 162 times a year.
Right, yeah. 81 at each person's ballpark.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All right, we've said, Rob, again, come on. We're charitable. We have ideas.
We're flexible.
I don't know. It's weird. I think Rob is always looking for a really tidy solution to a game that is like historically really untidy, and that is part of what makes it so appealing, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it needs that. I don't know that it needs that all the time.
I think we should put. Why stop at 2? Why not add like 8 teams?
Uh-huh.
Nashville, Portland, Mexico City, London.
Yeah. Hey, here we go. If we have 2 goals,
Ireland. Imagine the fans in Ireland. Tough environment.
If the goal is to expand Major League Baseball and crush the minor leagues, convert every minor league team into a Major League Baseball team, boom, you have a like 150 team league. No more minors to worry about.
So, did you see Bauman's article in Fangraphs about this?
No.
He wrote like an opus, honestly, and we should see his want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
The man, listen, the man has a head. Inside of the head is a brain. Inside of the brain are thoughts, and he's got to get them out. This was one of his better ones, I felt, and it was that this was in 2022 that he wrote this article, which I didn't even realize it was that long ago. I thought it was more. I only came to it more recently. They talked about it on Batting Around. He argues that there should be a 48 team league.
Okay. Of course he does.
It's basically that he thinks that every city over a certain population should get a team.
All right.
And for cities that have like double that population, they should have 2 teams. And for cities that have triple, so there'd be like 4 New York teams, there'd be like 4 LA or 3 LA teams, things like that for the metropolitan area.
Proportional representation for Major League Baseball.
Yes. Classic for him to want that. And then you split the league into 4 geographical regions like the country is actually conceptually thought of. And then that way you would play your geographical region much more often and the travel wouldn't be so necessary. So there would actually be more teams up in the Pacific Northwest for Seattle to play rather than having to fly 2,000 miles for every fucking game that they play.
Right, yeah.
I kind of am like, I know they won't do anything like this because that is just far too radical, far too drastic. But like 2 teams creates more problems than it solves, honestly.
Yeah.
And if expansion is contingent on this geographic realignment, I think I am against it.
Hot takes over here. Let's go.
Shrink the league, shrink the game. Fewer fans, fewer teams, fewer players.
Problem solved.
Make me the next commissioner.
I think that's about right. That's about where I stand. I think that the realignment, as he has floated it, and again, we're years away from something like this happening, but it just doesn't really track for me. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. First and foremost, from a fan's perspective, I don't know why it's like it makes things any more enticing for me. But we'll see.
Okay. So we've talked about expansion. Let's talk about the last team that almost got contracted. And now might also... They're not going to get contracted, but like might be one of the bleaker situations in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
From ownership level to front office level to on the field level. And that's the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
For a year now, we've been talking about the Pohlads are likely to sell the team. First, it was Justin Ishbia, 1T. He was rumored to be interested in purchasing the team. He is now on board with the White Sox. That is off the table. Then it was like, okay, they're looking for other suitors. They've been assessing the finances of the team for a while. This is a team that is widely known to have like more debt than the average team, and so they've been trying to cut
$400+ million.
Yes. So they've been trying to service some of that debt at the expense of the payroll in the last few years, though they were in some ways, out in other ways. It's been all over the place. And the resolution, we got it in the form of a statement posted to X, the Everything app, truly where everything happens. Presumably it got posted to other social medias too. That the Pohlad family is like, just kidding, we actually don't want to sell the team.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we've done to sort of undermine our tenure and legacy in the last year and a half, building towards a sale, stripping the team down to its component parts so that a sale would be more simple for the people buying it and would give that new ownership group a little bit more of a fresh start to handle it how they want to handle it. They're just like, we don't want to do that anymore. We changed our mind. Aside from the fact that that's really weird and like a bad business decision, it also introduces the question of like, so then what is your plan to get out of this hole that you had no way to get out of a year ago?
Mm-hmm.
And we got the answer to that in the form of them talking about bringing on new minority owners.
Limited partners, baby. Let's go.
To help inject the team full of a little bit more cash so the Pohlads will not own as much of a percentage of the team as they did, but they will also have a little bit more free cash to service some of that debt while still operating the team. I mean, it's not going to get them out of debt.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to sell a lot of the team. And they're not going to like get richer. So I'm honestly a little bit like lost. I'm a little bit of a dead end here. And I was talking to my friend who's a Twins fan before coming to record this podcast. And he was like, dude, it's like bleak, like 9 out of 10 on the bleak scale.
Yeah.
Because like the current core are all 31 and hurt all the time. The next wave of players are like not quite ready yet. And when they are going to be ready, that wave of players who's 31 and hurt is going to be 35 and even more hurt.
Mm-hmm.
The Pohlads don't know what they're doing. They never want to try for longer than 2 years at a time. We're kind of up shit creek without a paddle.
Yeah. Well, and the Twins are one of the teams who have sort of been disproportionately impacted by the cratering of local media revenue, who have had their rights brought in, centralized by Major League Baseball. And that's not nothing, right? I think that teams using that as kind of the one source of truth for why they can or can't spend is a little overblown. But like, TV revenue is a huge part of your business. And so when that goes away, it's obviously going to have downstream effects. Bringing in minority owners is not going to fill that hole. And it's not even going to entirely claw away at that debt, I don't think. But I am willing to acknowledge that the Twins as an organization have been in dire sort of financial straits for a few years. I think seen in that context, the fire sale at the deadline that tore down the entire team, right? That brought Carlos Correa, that sent Carlos Correa back to the Astros. Duran, Jax, Paddock, Bader, like the whole laundry, half the roster. Shaves about, I think, 26 million from the payroll or something like that. Like I'm certainly not gonna say I get it or I think that was the right thing to do. But if you're looking to shop the team, all right, you're gonna get rid of the sort of short-term liabilities or whatever, bring in cost-controlled players, smooth out the finances a little bit because it makes a sale a lot cleaner rather than trying to, having much wider error bars on what arbitration might look like for this whole host of like young stars, many of whom are legitimate stars, to about face and say, we're just kidding. We're not actually selling.
Less than 3 weeks later.
Less than 3 weeks later just makes no sense to me.
It's just not a good business decision.
It's not a good business decision.
You bought the team when you bought the team at this historic moment when franchise values ballooned just year over year. This historic moment in human history when like a business like this could just go up in value, line go up, You know, obviously, it would have been better if you bought the team in 1970 and sold it in 2010. Sure, but not everybody could do that. You buy the team to sell the team.
Yeah.
Or you buy the team to sink a shit ton of money into it year over year and manufacture a dramatic increase in franchise value by becoming one of the premier franchises. Those are the only two options, like from a business case. And now they're just like, we don't want to do either of those things. We want to keep one foot in.
Yeah.
I don't even get it from a business perspective, let alone from a doing right by the fan base perspective.
Right. I mean, that's out the window, right? Like there's no baseball justification for any of this, for anything they did at the deadline. The Twins were like I don't want to say a great team, but like a team with some legitimately good players on it who over the years have made playoff pushes here and there. And I think likely you could argue we're poised to do so for the next few years if run right. If they were looking to add instead of just completely subtract. But I don't know. This feels like the cheapest way out, honestly, for the Pohlads, right? You get to retain control.
Is it cheap to still keep servicing your $400 million of debt? That doesn't seem very cheap to me. That's what I'm confused by.
I guess, but they're not even servicing it. That's why they're bringing in minority owners, right? I mean, I certainly don't expect this new influx of cash to flow onto the field. I'll eat my shoe if that's the case, but
be careful promising that.
I know.
Donnie Kwok one time promised that he would eat a shoe if Germany got eliminated in the group stage of the World Cup in 2018. And then they did. And then he didn't eat the shoe. And he never lived it down. So just be careful what you say.
Well, just
when
so you know,
Twins run a $300 million payroll 2 years from now, you're going to be eating shoe. It was crazy. David Chang, like, he came in and he was like, I'll prepare the shoe for you. I'll cook the shoe. I'll find a way to prepare the shoe that you can actually eat it without it killing you. Like, it's not going to be good for you, but like, it won't kill you. Yeah. And he was like, I'm not eating this shoe. Like, you said you would eat the shoe.
You have my word, listeners of Tipping Pitches. Shoes back on the menu for me.
If what number? What number do they have to hit in payroll? 250?
So what are they at now? I don't even know.
I don't know, like 140?
Right, yeah. Yeah, hey, oh my God, if they hit 250, absolutely. Laces and all, brother.
They are at, oh God, 134. I was right. That was kind of just exaggerating.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's really bad.
I mean, fuck, if they make it to 200 next year.
Well, not next year. They're not going to do it next year. I don't even think that would be possible.
I don't think so.
Do you remember when it was like, remember that brief period during the offseason when it was like, the A's have to hit 105 million in payroll or they'll have a grievance filed against them? And everyone was just like, yeah, this is normal. This is fine.
Okay. That makes sense why they're signing all these players.
How is that not collusion? Like, explain to me how that's not.
I mean, so here's the thing, right? It's like,
this is why we just get drunk on the podcast now and don't like actually talk about these things because it just drives me insane.
If you can hold on for another couple years as an owner and wait until all the local deals expire and the national deals expire, and if you trust Rob Manfred to renegotiate, to create a new media rights landscape that lifts franchise values across the board, then maybe you do hold on. Maybe you do say, look, I'm willing to ride it out, knowing that at the end of the tunnel, there's going to be a windfall. That feels like a huge gamble to make, for sure, especially as a team holding this much debt, who's already seen their TV rights crater. But I don't know. I guess a part of me is kind of like, what else are they going to do? What, are you going to go get a job?
Just put your money in NFTs or something. I don't know. Like, just do rich people shit. I don't like do something else. Just don't do one of the 30 things that ruins the most amount of people's lives.
I know.
I'm not even asking them to be like woke about it. I'm not even asking them for them to pay for all of the school lunches in Minnesota. Just do something else.
Right. Or pay back the hundreds of millions they got to build their ballpark that they own.
Yeah. Great park, people say, though.
So I hear. I'd love to go there.
Does this throw a wrench in our plans to go there next year for the Tipping Pitches meetup?
No, in fact, I think it motivates me even more. Now we got to do some boots on the ground reporting. Does Joe go to the games? If you're a Twins fan and you've seen
You have
Joe,
a knack for him, for finding owners.
I know.
Okay. All right. This was good. This was fun. I'm glad we did this podcast.
Me too. I always am, Bob.
I have to go now. I have a mixer to go to.
Jesus. Speaking of meetups.
Correct. We still have tickets. Tipping
We do.
Pitches, Kansas City, September 6th. They're hosting the Minnesota Twins, speaking of them. If you want to come, I'm probably going to send you another email if you signed up and we haven't heard from you. But if that is the case, please email us, tippingpitchespod@gmail.com. We can get you a ticket still. There's also talk of a Negro Leagues Baseball Museum tour Saturday morning, and there's also a tailgate that is being planned. There's a survey in the description of this podcast for if you are coming to the meetup and you would like to come to the tailgate so that the organizer of said tailgate knows how many people are coming and that you know where to go. That's in the link, in a link in the description. I'm done with the podcast. I'm done with the podcast. That's all I have to say.
Pull the plug.
Thank you for listening. This was fun. It was fun.
I agree. Even sober, Bobby, it was still enjoyable doing this with you.
Sober thoughts. What is it? Drunk minds share sober thoughts. Drunk.
No, I liked where you were going with this. Drunk.
Yeah, you don't know the word either. You're making fun of me.
Drunk words, sober thoughts. That's it, right?
Drunk. Yeah. Drunk words are sober thoughts. That's the same.
I think.
Sober words.
As you can tell with us, it's all the same. Drunk, sober are words, thoughts.
Please head to the Tipping Pitches merch store to get your Rome Rays shirt today. We will talk to you tomorrow on the Patreon and 1 week from now here on this public feed, the Tipping Pitches podcast. See you then.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Rodriguez. Tipping Pitches.
Tipping Pitches.
This is the one that I love the most.
Tipping Pitches.
So we'll see you next week. See ya!